It was a cold January morning when Daniel sat at his kitchen table, staring blankly at the screen of his laptop. The numbers didn't lie. His startup had failed. After 2 years of pouring everything he had, time, money, energy, heart, into his business, it had all crumbled. He was broke. The bank account balance glared back at him with cruel honesty. The investors had pulled out. Clients stopped responding. The debt kept growing. He hadn't left the house in 3 days, and he hadn't called his parents in weeks. He didn't know what to say. How do you tell the people who believe in you that you failed? Daniel was always the idea guy growing up. Creative, ambitious, a dreamer. He believed that with enough hard work, anything was possible. So, when he left his job to launch a sustainable clothing line, everyone cheered him on. The first few months were great. Media coverage, online buzz, even a few celebrity mentions. But then, things slowed down. Sales dropped. His marketing campaign flopped. A supplier messed up a major order. And one by one, the pieces started falling apart. The worst part wasn't the failure itself. It was the voice in his head. That constant whisper, "You're not good enough. You're not cut out for this. You're a joke. Look at you. You're nothing." That voice grew louder with every mistake, every rejection email, every unpaid bill. It wasn't just a failed business anymore. It was personal. Daniel stopped sleeping properly. He'd lie awake at night going over every decision he made. Every what if, every should have. He even started to believe that his best days were behind him. That maybe he wasn't meant to succeed at all. One night, something changed. Not because someone saved him, not because a miracle happened, but because of a simple notebook. He found it while cleaning out his desk drawer, a black journal he hadn't touched in years. Inside, on the first page, were the words, "Talk to yourself like someone you love." It was a quote from Brené Brown, a researcher and storyteller known worldwide for her work on vulnerability and self-worth. Daniel had written it down years ago. He didn't know why, but that quote hit different that night. Maybe it was the silence, maybe it was the pain, but something inside him cracked open. The next morning, Daniel sat down with that notebook and started writing. Not plans, not ideas, just words, encouraging words, kind words, things like, "You're still learning." "Failure doesn't define you. You've done hard things before." He didn't believe any of it at first. It felt fake, forced, but he kept going. That was the beginning of a quiet revolution inside him, the power of positive self-talk. Every day, Daniel spent 5 minutes writing something kind to himself. It felt awkward, even silly, but over time something began to shift. He started noticing the harsh words in his head more clearly and choosing different ones instead. He began to talk back to the voice that said, "You're a failure" with, "You took a risk. That's brave." When the voice whispered, "You've wasted 2 years," he responded, "You've learned more in 2 years than most people do in 10. And slowly, gently, he started to believe those new words. Psychologists have long studied this effect. A 2014 study published in the journal Behavior Research and Therapy found that individuals who practiced positive self-talk and self-compassion were significantly less likely to experience depression or anxiety, even in the face of serious setbacks. Another study in the Journal of Sport and Exercise Psychology highlighted how athletes who practiced positive self-talk performed better under pressure and recovered faster from failure. The brain, scientists say, can't always tell the difference between reality and imagination. So, when you say kind things to yourself, even if they're not true yet, your brain starts wiring itself to believe those things. This is called neuroplasticity, and it's real. You can literally rewire how you think. In Daniel's case, this shift didn't magically bring back his business, but it brought something far more valuable: clarity, resilience, and the courage to start again without shame. He didn't rush into building a new company right away. Instead, he took a few part-time gigs, paid off some debt, and focused on healing. He read books, he went for walks, he reconnected with friends. Most importantly, he kept that notebook close. His daily ritual of positive self-talk became like a mental gym, building emotional strength one rep at a time. A year later, Daniel launched a podcast for failed entrepreneurs. He called it The Bounce Back. In the first episode, he shared his full story, raw, real, and full of emotion. It resonated. People from around the world sent him messages. "That's my story too. Thank you for saying what I've been afraid to admit." He wasn't just healing anymore. He was helping others heal too. A few months later, a publisher approached him for a book deal. His podcast got picked up by a media company. And recently, Daniel launched a small business again. This time, a mentorship program for early-stage founders focused not just on strategy, but on mindset. He still has bad days. He still hears the voice sometimes. But now, he knows what to say back. One of his favorite quotes, now framed on his desk, is from the Greek philosopher Epictetus. "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Daniel believes that more than ever, because he's lived it. He now teaches that the way you talk to yourself during your lowest moments defines the path to your next chapter. He reminds people that failure isn't the opposite of success. It's part of it. That self-compassion isn't weakness. It's a tool, a powerful one. He shares how positive self-talk, it's daily practice. It's rewriting the inner script. It's the lifeline when everything else feels lost. If you've ever felt like giving up, if you've ever looked in the mirror and not liked the person looking back, remember this. You are not your failure. You are not your mistakes. You are not your past. You are the words you say to yourself when nobody else is listening. Tell yourself something kind today, just one thing, and do it again tomorrow, and again the next day, because healing starts in the silence, and strength begins with belief. And remember, when you practice positive self-talk, real, consistent, and gentle, you're not just changing your mood, you're changing your mind, you're changing your life. So stand tall, speak kindly to yourself. The world may not always believe in you, but you can, and that's enough to start again. You're not done yet. Your story isn't over. Keep going, keep believing, keep building.